ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम नमो नारायणाय। 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 ओम ऋतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः। ओम नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात्। हरि ओम, सुप्रभातम। ओम शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ओम शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We will chant from the 12th shloka. Om वसुर्वसुमना सत्यः समात्मा सम्मितः समः अमोघः पुण्डरीकाक्षो वृषकर्मा वृषाकृतिः रुद्रो बहुशिरा बभ्रुर्विश्वयोनिशुचिश्रवाः अमृतशाश्वतस्थाणुर्वरारोहो महातपाः सर्वगः सर्वविद्भानुर्विश्वक्सेनो जनार्दनः वेदो वेदविदव्यङ्गो वेदाङ्गो वेदवित्कविः लोकाध्यक्षः सुराध्यक्षो धर्माध्यक्षः कृताकृतः चतुरात्मा चतुर्व्यूहश्चतुर्दंष्ट्रश्चतुर्भुजः. We were discussing on this shloka and we are on the last nama of this shloka, Chaturbhujaha. Yesterday we discussed on the very important aspect of our culture, where teaching the next generation and also teaching ourselves, leave alone the next generation. Very many times when we talk of culture, we only think of the next generation should be good. We are also included in that, because only when we understand everything we can even transfer the knowledge to the next generation. Therefore, the culture has to be imbibed properly. Personification of God is a very important aspect in our culture. Why is this required? Parabrahma Swarupa Paramatma Brahman, the Nirguna Nirakara Nirvikalpa Vastu Brahman, cannot be comprehended by common mind like yours and mine. Therefore, an alambana, a support system is required for the mind to transfer its energies or reunite its energies and channelize in a different direction from where it is now. Where is the mind now? It is scattered into the whims and fancies of the world, and it has been drowned into the very samsara of this world. Therefore, what happens? Once we are drowned in the samsara, the Atma Jnana becomes very difficult. Reason is very simple. We have no time for Bhagavan. How many of us agree? I am very sure 100% you will agree that there is no time for Bhagavan, and even if we allocate little time out of habit, I underline, out of habit, even if we allocate some time, we may probably be a chatterbox chatting certain so-called shlokas and mantras without mind associated in it. Our mind may be thinking anything and everything other than Bhagavan, even if we are in front of Bhagavan. How many times in the temple when we go, that also very rarely we go. In the other religions, you ought to go on a particular day of the week. Whereas in our Sanatana Dharma, you are supposed to go every day. Therefore, not one particular day is allotted. Since one particular day is not allotted, we think that we can go any day. Why now? Later. And then we hardly go to temple. Even if at all, because of the celebrations we have regularly, today is Deepavali. My hearty wishes for Deepavali. I invoke Bhagavan's blessings on all of us on this day, so that the evil is eradicated. Evil not outside us, evil very much within us. All the Kama, Krodha, the Shadvairinaha, the Rakshasas of Shadvairinaha, they are all in us. May Bhagavan remove all of them and give us that blessing of reaching Him. Happy Deepavali. Such occasions are given for us, at least these days, go to temple. And when we go to temple on these days, where is our attention? Our attention is how many people have come to recognize that I have come to temple. And what is the kind of dress I am wearing? What is the kind of jewelry I am wearing? What is the kind of mobile I am holding? How many people watch that I have an Apple mobile? I am giving some petty examples. It need not be always only this vastu. It can be so many other things. Is it not? Even at temples we don't have our mind stationed at the feet of Bhagavan, parked at the feet of Bhagavan. The very purpose of Sanatana Dharma is to quieten the mind and withdraw the mind, gain the habit of withdrawing the mind and offering it at the feet of Bhagavan. Therefore, personification of the Lord is extremely important. For what? For our mind to connect itself, one, withdraw from the world, and two, connect itself at the feet of the Lord. And therefore, the personified Lord is always beautiful, is always presented beautiful. Presented not only beautiful, but presented with a purpose. Presented not only beautiful and a purpose, it is also presented with a teaching. All what is required is for us to look at that personified Bhagavan, feel the presence of Bhagavan there, see the beauty of Bhagavan, and also gain the teaching, gain the knowledge from the teaching in the very personification. Think. If you look at Bhagavan, for example, if you look at Ganapati, if you only look at Ganapati as just an image or just a body, then there is no reason why you will get bhakti. I mean, there is no bhakti involved, because biological impossibility is what an intellectual mind will think. What Bhagavan, human mind, elephant, this one, these people are useless. They don't know what is Bhagavan, and look at this, all this funny stuff. They go and then they say, oh, Shuklam Bharadram, put this one in their heads, and then cross hand, then you do baski. What is all this? These are all nonsense. Intelligent mind might think so when they see only the physical aspect of Bhagavan. Whereas Ganapati has got another name, Vinayaka, Visheshena Nayakaha. Every part of Ganapati is a teaching to a common man as to how a leader should behave. A leadership quality is depicted in Vinayaka. Think. Shanta Swarupa is depicted in Shiva, a meditative Shiva. Obedience, surrender at the feet of the Father is seen in Bhagavan Sri Rama. Seva, Sharanagati is seen in Hanumanji. Like that, if you take every deity, it has got a symbolism. Similarly, Chaturbhujaha, when it is said here, it has a symbolism for us to understand. With reference to Bhagavan Sri Vishnu, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, in this case, instead of Padma, instead of lotus, there is one Abhaya Hasta. Various forms, Kalpanika Chitra are there, and here it is made as Abhaya Hasta. What are they? We will see. Shankha represents the call of the Shastras. The declaration of the Shastras is to turn the mind with understanding. When we understand the Shastra, when we understand this personification of the Supreme, then the connectivity of our restless mind at the feet of Bhagavan and gain that quietude is possible. For that, understanding Shastra Jnana is very important. A Guru is very important. Guru's teaching is very important. Shastra and the teaching of the Guru, Guru Vakya, is represented by conch, shankha. Panchajanyam Hrishikesha Devadattam Dhananjaya. All of them in the war would have a conch. What is it meant for? Declaration. Similarly, this conch declares the knowledge of Shastra. Then, normally we say Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. For our understanding, we will take Gada first and then take Chakra. The first is the declaration of the Shastra. And why is the declaration required? It is for us to imbibe those teachings and live in the world outside with a dharmic life. Time and again, all of us know that due to the pressure of pleasures, mind slips down. Mind wants some, fleeting pleasure. Mind wants to enjoy. But what happens? Enjoying the fleeting pleasure is not the problem, but getting stuck there and not bouncing back is the problem. Human mind, yato nischarati manaha chanchalam, manaha asthiram. This is the very nature of the mind. If this is the nature of the mind, occasionally it requires one beating. The wake up call can wake up some people who are generally conscious. Occasionally when they sleep, one beat is sufficient for them to wake up. It is like, one mirror. Like when we talk, we speak while taking the classes on Hanuman Chalisa. Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nija Man Mukuru Sudhari. Mukuru means mirror. The mirror of the mind, the mirror is compared to the mind, there is dirt, dust of demand for pleasures. And how do we clean the mirror? If the dust in the mirror is just a small dust, one foo-foo will do, dust will go away. But if the dust is a little harder, maybe one cloth, dry cloth is sufficient. It requires a little more effort. Sometimes for ages, some people, you go to some houses, for ages they would not have cleaned the mirror. And for that you require one brush and probably some cleaning agent. And then you have to rub. Think, similar are our vasanas. Some vasanas are not very strong enough. So one little thinking is sufficient, it will go away. Some vasanas are a little stronger, little deeper. Because of the past experience, because we have enjoyed it so well, that very strong, it will not go so easily. Therefore, a little harder, effort, stronger effort is required to remove those vasanas. And some of the vasanas are very strong. Like for example, some people have got this coffee vasana. This coffee vasana, I am sure most of you, it can be coffee, means it can be tea also. Coffee is not something very bad, Swamiji. Coffee vasana is no different from any of the other drinks if it is an addiction. Think. It doesn't mean that you have to give up coffee from tomorrow. Please be clear on what we are speaking. Anything is accepted. Anything is permitted as long as it does not become an addiction and takes you away from your path. Like for example, there are some people who conduct research, or there are some students who study with lot of attention, with lot of, that joy of studying also they study. And sometimes they study late night. At that time, the mother brings 1 cup of tea. Now that tea re-energizes, revitalizes the energy. It brings more attention and it drives away, eradicates that kind of sleepy tendency. That is not wrong. That can be tea or coffee. That is not what is called as addiction. But there are people who drink some 10 cups of coffee or 15 cups of coffee per day. That is condemned. So, our practices, our desires are not condemned by itself, but when the desire becomes an addiction to such a level that you don't think of anything other than that, and you fall prey for it, even sacrificing Bhagavan and even sacrificing our own goal of life. That is being condemned. That is why very beautifully Pujya Swami Chidananji, our Acharya, would say, moderation in everything, including moderation. Therefore, nothing is wrong as long as you have the control on that. Param Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayanji used to say, you can smoke the cigarette, but let not the cigarette smoke you away. You may drink, but let not the drink you away. Similarly, we need to take charge of our mind to such an extent that the mind behaves the way I want the mind to behave and not the other way around. Whenever the mind thus falls down, then a small beating is required, which is represented by Gadha, where it makes a warning call and says, "Oi, where are you? Get up." Sorry, you get up. This wake up call will definitely give another strength in oneself to trek the path. That was sufficient. But if it does not help the person to wake up, the person is stuck into that pleasure of the world, then Bhagavan brings chakra. What is the chakra? It can remove, it can eradicate, it can demolish. Probably demolish, one spelling mistake is there. It can demolish that person itself. Bhagavan is very, very kind. Bhagavan he will not take chakra immediately as soon as you do one mistake. In my mother tongue, Tamil Bhasha, there is a very beautiful saying. In fact, my mother, very often she would use this particular statement. Manidan andre kolvan, Devam nindru kollum. Very beautiful statement, very powerful statement. Man will kill then and there, meaning he will immediately take revenge on other people. But Bhagavan will not do that. Bhagavan will wait. He will give all opportunities. He will give all circumstances for us to wake up, reject those evil tendencies, shift and trek the path again. And when we are able to do it ourselves, Bhagavan will bless us with more strength in trekking the path. Think. But when we are not ready, he will still wait. He will say, okay, after all, children, we are all children to Bhagavan. Don't we do that with children? After all, child, he will grow. Like that, Bhagavan also will give some beatings he will give. Like I said about Gadha. Some little tapping he will give. One slap probably he will give. If we wake up, we are good. We are supposed to be intelligent then. Think. But if we don't wake up, how many people have become criminals today? They are put into jail life term, and some people are so bad that they have to be hanged. That is what is called as chakra, where Bhagavan finally takes the Sudarshana chakra to eradicate the evil person. It is not the person that he eradicates, it represents that evil quality. Therefore, chakra represents the power to demolish the evil and the power to retain dharma. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Those days, one Hiranyakashipu was there, one Ravana was there. Today, everybody is one like Ravana only. Therefore, Bhagavan cannot take one avatara. He has to take Nitya avatara. That is why so many gurus, so many Santa Purushas are sent to give us the direction. Even then, if we don't understand and turn our direction, then chakra will come. And the chakra is called Kala Chakra. This word you might have heard very often. Kala Chakra, time will teach, they say. And the time, how sooner or how later, depends upon the intensity of our aparadha, intensity of our addictions. Kala Chakra will teach us a lesson. And the fourth one is Padma. In case we wake up, in case we are able to come out of it, regret for whatever has happened, reject it and turn our direction and trek the path, at that time Bhagavan will bless us with Abhaya Hasta or Padma. What is Padma here? Padma is Shantam. Padma is also Abhayam. And what does Padma give? Padma is, we have heard the statement, Padma Patramiva Ambasa. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said. What is Padma Patra? That patra which grows in water, in slush, in fact. Yet it cannot be drenched by that very slush. That is the quality Bhagavan will bless us in the form of Padma. What is that quality? You live in this world, yet you are unaffected by the worldly affairs. You may live in the din and roar of life, yet you are unaffected. Think, that is the greatest blessing of Bhagavan. Therefore, Chaturbhujaha represents the four very important association, we may say, in a manner of saying, with all of us, the samsaris and Bhagavan. Bhagavan associates himself with us. He teaches us the Shastras. He gives us light beating whenever required, or he will eradicate through very strong measures and finally give us that Shantam, that quietude. This is represented by Chaturbhujaha. With this, the 15th shloka concludes. We will next go to the 16th shloka. Bhrajishnur bhojanam bhokta. Oh, my tune changed to Gita. Bhrajishnur bhojanam bhokta sahishnur jagadadijah. Anagho vijayo jeta vishwayonih punarvasuhu. Bhrajishnur bhojanam bhokta sahishnur jagadadijah. Anagho vijayo jeta vishwayonih punarvasuhu. In the shloka, there are few namas which we have seen earlier. The import, the meaning of it, we have seen earlier. We have 10 namas in the shloka. Bhrajishnuhu, Bhojanam, Bhokta, Sahishnuhu, Jagadadijaha, Anaghaha, Vijayaha, Jeta, Vishwayonihi, Punarvasuhu. What is Bhrajishnuhu? Prakashaikara Sattvat Bhrajishnuhu. Meaning what? The one who is radiant. And he is self-effulgent. Swaprakashatvat Bhrajishnuhu, we may say. He is the important radiance because of which there is radiance in this world. Everything is enlivened by the presence of Bhagavan. And when there is no presence, one is non-functional. One gets eradicated. In Jiva Rashi, one dies. This eyes are able to see, this ears are able to hear is only because of the presence of that Supreme. Alright, therefore he is called Bhrajishnuhu, who illumines everything. This thought we have seen several times earlier, therefore I proceed further. Bhojanam, aha! Everybody loves Bhojanam, and the two varieties of Bhojanam. Why is Bhagavan called as Bhojanam? Bhojya Rupataya Prakritir Maya Bhojanam Ityuchyate. Bhojya Rupataya. Now see, Prakriti. Prakriti is what? This whole world. This whole world is seen as the object of experience. Bhojya Rupataya. Object of experience, very simple example, like food we have given. That is why it's called as Bhojana. If there is one Rasagalla, Rasagalla is an object of what? Let us suppose I don't eat Rasagalla. It doesn't make any sense to me. Rasagalla, nobody will say we don't want because it's such a wonderful sweet. Okay, we'll change the example for convenience. Let us suppose there is a bottle of whiskey or whatever it is, liquor. To a person who is a non-drinker, it makes no sense. Why does it make no sense? It is not an object of my desire. I don't have any value for that. Therefore, that does not become Bhojya Vastu. However, liquor may not be my Bhojya Vastu, or cigarette may not be my Bhojya Vastu, but it can be anything. As I said in the previous shloka example, coffee can be a Bhojya Vastu. Is it not? Jalebis can be my Bhojya Vastu. Or watching cricket, Bhojya Vastu. Now look at that. Eyes have got color and form. All the colors and forms of the world are Bhojya Vastu for the eyes. Melodious music. Melodious is, generally we say, some people listen to such a music that it will disturb the whole world. But then that is their Bhojya Vastu. Think. It can be. And for some people, Vedanta Shravana can be Bhojya Vastu. Why do I say, what Swamiji, Vedanta Shravana you are calling of Bhojya Vastu? Some people are professional listeners. You know what is professional listeners? They will go and sit in all Vedanta class to listen. Good. Now please don't stop listening. Please listen. But then it is one activity. What to do? Let me go and sit there. And there are some people who love, who enjoy, who even again contemplate, who reflect. Manana Shilavan. They reflect, they enjoy. And when they reflect on the Shastra, it brings so much of joy. Think. Why are you listening now? Because you feel, hopefully, you feel there is some joy in listening, there is some knowledge we can gain, therefore it is very good. That is why you are listening. Think. One music, some bhajan, all these are Bhojya Vastu for the ear. Is it not? Some Sangeetam, Shastriya Sangeetam, Abhang. Think. I myself, I can confess that I am one such person. I love this Marathi Abhangs. And then I love this bhajans on Vithala, Rama, etc. Sometimes I keep on listening, and this YouTube is very interesting. You select one, all the similar things will come. You don't have to select everything. You select one and leave it. It will go on one after the other. It will play. Like that several times I have went on listening to some abhangs. Bhojya vastu. Think. It can be touch, it can be smell, it can be taste, anything. But they are all, this whole universe, Prakriti, is Bhojya Rupataya Bhojanam. From that standpoint, all of them are Bhojanam. Food. Food for the eyes, food for the ears, food for the nose, tongue and skin. Right? Now one step ahead. When we say all are food, what are they actually? They are nothing but Bhagavan. What is our law of causation? Effects are nothing but cause itself in different forms. Think. Rupa. Rupa vastu. Bhagavan is there. Shabda. Bhagavan is there. Think. When Bhagavan has in and through pervaded the universe, which is the effect, when he is the cause, then effects are also nothing but cause itself. Remember the second law? Effects are nothing but cause itself in different forms. From that standpoint, Bhojanam, this Prakriti, this Vastu which is Drishya Prapancha, Shabda Prapancha, all of them are nothing but Bhagavan himself. Therefore, he is called Bhojanam. The next is very interesting. If he is Bhojanam, Swamiji, who is the Bhokta? Now look at that. Here in the shloka of Bhagavad Gita, both are indicated. The next nama is Bhokta. We will come to that. In Bhojanam, as Bhokta he is there, as Bhojanam he is there. In Bhagavad Gita it is said, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritaha Prana Apana Samayuktaha Pachamyannam Chaturvidham. I, as the Vaishvanara Agni in your stomach, I digest all the 4 types of food which you eat, either disciplined way or indisciplined way. Think. Praninam deham ashritaha, being present in the deha of the pranis with the help of or as prana, apana, samana, annam, chaturvidham, aham pachami. What are the Chaturvidha Anna? Bhakshya are called, the solid food what we eat are called Bhakshya Bhojanam. The second one is Bhojya Bhojanam. What are they? Liquids, drinkable vastu. The third one, Lehya, they are all to be licked, like how we take honey in our hand and lick. Those vastu which are to be licked. And fourth, Choshya vastu which are to be sucked. Like mangoes, there are some, there's one particular variety of mango. We make a hole at the bottom, one small hole we make that also we eat the skin, that small portion. And then there are people who, rub the mango before opening, rub the mango nicely and then remove the top and then suck all the juice. So that which is sucked. These are the 4 ways which we eat food. 4 types of food we eat. There is nothing other than these, frankly speaking. There can be something with some combination probably. But everything comes within these 4. Chaturvida annam aham pachami, I eat. And then he becomes the Bhokta. Earlier what did we say? He is the Bhojanam. He is everything. The mango is Bhojanam, that is Bhagavan. Honey is Bhojanam, Bhagavan. Coffee is bhojanam, Bhagavan. Rasgulla, bhojanam, Bhagavan. Think, everything is Bhagavan and he is also the Bhokta. How? Purusha Rupena tam bhunkte iti Bhokta. Purusha Rupena as the experiencer, as the enjoyer, he becomes the Bhokta. Therefore, Bhojanam also is Bhagavan. Bhokta is also Bhagavan. Everything is Bhagavan. Ekameva Advitiyam. Therefore, what else can be there? Think. Bhojanam, Bhokta as the experiencer, the knower, the enjoyer. He becomes the subject who experiences all the objects of experience. Bhokta. Then comes the word Sahishnuhu as a very, very interesting word. Sahishnuhu means the one who forbears, the one who endures, the one who tolerates. In the Tattva Bodha, we have our Tattva Bodha, Vivek Chudamani, we have learnt Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam Chinta vilaparahitam satitiksha nigadyate. Viveka Chudamani. Shitoshna sukha dukkeshu samasanga vivarjitaha. Bhagavad Gita. Think, all the Grantha keeps telling us, be patient and tolerate the pairs of opposites in life, because life means pairs of opposites. There is no life without pairs of opposites. When there is good, there has to be bad. Why? Bad is recognized with reference to the good, and good is recognized with reference to the bad. Therefore, both are there. That is life. That is samsara. Right? When good things happen, we get elated, and when bad things happen, we get deflated. Bhagavan says, have endurance. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam. At the same time, even the good we have to be patient. Why? Agama apayinaha nityaha. Good times come, it will go. Whether you want it or not, believe it or not, like it or not, it will go. Bad time comes, be sure it will go. Then people say, Swamiji, I can understand, but good times are very, very short. Bad times appears to be never ending. That is our mind. Very simple. Let us say you watch a TV serial and it is your favorite serial. So you prepare yourself to watch that serial. There are some people who prepare themselves. They keep a side table with water and chatak patak also to eat while the serial is going on. But then what happens? When the serial starts, they forget this and they are into the TV. And the serial goes for half an hour with all the advertisements in between. Half an hour is a serial. And followed by another serial which is also half an hour which you hate. The first serial, you only sit and by the time you recognize them, it's over. Why? It just passes like that. Classroom, for example. Some subjects are very interesting. By the time you recognize, oh God, 45 minutes over. In the other class which you don't like, every 5 minutes you will watch. Innu agilva. Still it is not over. It is only 5 minutes over. Why? Because of my mind. So here, in life when good and bad happens, Sahishnutvam at both levels are important. Now see, Hiranyakshadin Sahane Abhibhavati iti Sahishnuhu, the one who has tolerated so many demons. One who has confronted so many demons. And the best part of Bhagavan, every demon he confronts, after winning over them, he gives them moksha. Think. Meaning what? He even tolerates everybody's mistakes, gives them little beating, finally kills them. Even after killing them, it is not out of dvesha, it is out of love to protect the other people. He had to kill that person, like how a very harsh criminal is being hanged for the sake of protecting the society. He kills them, but he takes them to him, take that even the demon to himself. That is the glory of Bhagavan. He tolerates everything and everybody. Leave alone big demons. Isn't he tolerating all of us? Tell me. How much of terrible things we do? Think. And he is still tolerating. Naturally, he is called as Sahishnu. We will continue tomorrow. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.